Hello and welcome to Shay's Tech Academy. In this lesson, we'll explore the fundamental concepts of variables and data types in Python. Understanding these concepts is essential for building robust and flexible programs. So, let's get started. First of all, let's understand what variables are. In Python, variables are like containers that store data. They allow us to store and manipulate information within our programs. They act as containers that hold values, which can be of different types, such as numbers, text, or Boolean values. Variables allow us to manipulate and work with data within our programs. Before we dive into the technical details, let me take 1 minute to explain this using a real-world example. Let's consider the concept of a shopping list. Imagine you're going to the grocery store and need to remember a list of items you want to buy. In this scenario, you can use variables to represent each item on your shopping list. Look at this code here. Here we've created variables, item 1, item 2, item 3, and assigned them values representing different items you want to buy. You can think of these variables as placeholders for the actual items. By using variables, you can easily refer to and manipulate these items throughout your program. For example, you could print the items on your shopping list like this. In this case, the variables allow you to store and access the items on your shopping list. You can perform various operations with these variables, such as adding or removing items, checking if certain items are on the list, or updating the quantities of specific items. Variables in Python, just like in the shopping list example, provide a convenient way to store and manage data, making our programs more flexible and powerful. I hope this example gave you basic understanding on variables. Now let's move on and take a look at few other examples and data types. To create a variable, we choose a name and assign a value to it. For example, we can create a variable by assigning a value to it using the equals sign like this. In this example, we create a variable called name and assign the value John to it. We then print the value of the name variable using the print function. Let's look at variable reassignment. Variables in Python are dynamic, meaning their values can be changed. Let's see an example. In this example, we initially set the variable age to 25, but later we reassigned it to 30. Now let's explore different data types available in Python. Each data type represents a specific kind of information and provides different functionalities. In Python, there are several built-in data types that we can use to store different kinds of values. Some of the commonly used data types are *int, integer, *float, floating point number, *star, string, *bool, boolean. The int data type represents whole numbers without decimal points. Let's see an example. In this example, we create a variable called num and assign the value 5 to it. We then print the data type of the num variable using the type function. This tells us that the value given to the variable num is of type integer, since it is a number. The float data type is used to represent numbers with decimal points. Let's see an example. In this example, we create a variable called pi and assign the value 3.14 to it. We then print the data type of the pi variable using the type function. This tells us that the value given to the variable pi is of type float, since we have a number with decimal in it. Let's look at string data type as well. In this example, we create a variable called name and assign the value John to it. We then print the data type of the name variable using the type function. This tells us that the value given to the variable name is of type string, since we have letters in it. The bool data type represents Boolean values, either true or false. It's commonly used in conditions and logical operations. Let's see an example. In this example, we create a variable called is_student and assign the value true to it. We then print the data type of the is_student variable using the type function. In this case, it's used to represent the truth value of an expression. Now that we understand the concept of variables and data types, Let me finish off this lesson with one last example, which is a little bit more in details. Let's first declare some variables. These variables could be anything of your choice, but I'm going to declare them by having a story in my mind. Now let's print out these values that we have assigned for each variable. This will show us the variable name has the value John and the variable age has the value 25 and so on. Now let's take a level higher and try to perform operations with variables. I know we have not yet covered the operations, but for now just follow on. Here we create a variable called birth year, and we give it a value, but the value, if you see, is actually not straightforward, but we are calculating the age and then assigning the variable birth year with a value. For example, we use the current year 2023 and minus the age of the John, which is 25, to give us the year he was born in. Let's try to update the variable as well now like this. And finally, let's print out what we have done using the print statement, and then we'll go through what is happening here. In this example, we have declared multiple variables representing different types of data. We declare the name variable as a string, storing the name John Doe. The age variable is an integer, representing the age 25. The height variable is a float, indicating the height 1.75. The _student variable is a boolean, denoting whether a person is a student or not. We then print the values of these variables using the print function. Next, we perform operations with the variables. We calculate the birth _year by subtracting the age from the current year, 2023. We define the current _year as 2023. We calculate the years _ until _adult by subtracting the age from 18. We update the age variable by incrementing it by 1 using the assignment operator plus equals. We also update the _student variable to false. Finally, we print the updated values of the variables. And here we can see in the out all the inputs we had provided and the age calculations it was required to do. The error that we see here just indicates that we have an invalid character in our code. Let me correct that and run the code again to get the right results. Great, it looks good now. That's it for this session, so let's summarize what we learned in this lesson. We learned about variables, data types, and how to use them in Python. We saw how to create variables and assign values to them, and also learned about the different data types in Python, such as integers, floating point numbers, strings, and booleans. Now that you know about variables and data types, you are ready to move on to more advanced concepts in Python programming. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and let's catch up in the next lesson.